Welcome to Just Chilling episode 7 with Paul and Kaitlyn, a podcast about where we talk about what's new and how to enjoy it. Kaitlyn, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good, very good. And our guest today, Vanessa Van Noy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for
Great.
having me.
Great. Thank you for joining us. We had a great introduction there. Ming put in some new artwork for us in the beginning.
New graphics.
New
Expansive.
graphics. So we're going, as we progress along the stratosphere of podcasting, we are
Yeah.
getting more and more advanced. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to have music next time. When you log into these podcasting things, they start sending you all types of emails, and you can pick an introductory song. So maybe Kaitlyn, we have to think about a good intro song.
Yeah, we have to come
for
up
Just
with
Chilling. I don't know. We'll have to maybe that'll
I'll
be
have to put my mind to that too. I'm like,
Yeah, I
what
don't
would
know.
be a good song?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't even. I mean, my brain is not thinking as fluid as it has in the past with this COVID.
Are you day drinking like everybody else?
Believe it or not, Vanessa, I haven't had a drink in 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. I gave
That's
up
funny.
drinking for during this. I said I gotta be on point. I gotta be thinking right. I gotta make decisions quick. And when I typically when I drink, those are things that don't happen very well. So I said I'm gonna
Good for
stop.
everyone.
And I think I've been a loner in the whole country and going through this though, and not drinking. My friends are making fun of me, and of course my wife is making fun of me. So
She walks around with a glass of wine. She's just like,
exactly. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, Paul? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see how long this goes. So it's gonna be 6 weeks on Sunday. So that's
I had
a good detox.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I hadn't had a drink since New Year's.
Oh,
and
okay.
then this all started, and I was just like, well,
this is good.
Really, no good reason not to.
I have given, usually this time, January, February is when I do stop drinking for a period of time. And I didn't do it in this January and February. And then this came along and I says, well, okay, maybe I need to do my routine now and give up for several weeks and such. And so the timing of it is, but it's been actually pretty good not drinking. You get tremendous benefits when you don't drink too, just as much as when you do drink. So you sleep better and all those kinds of things. So I was like, let me. Now I see, Kaitlyn, you have your visitor here. You have Bentley that has joined.
Yeah, he's sleeping.
He's sleeping. Oh, he's all right. And Vanessa, who is that? Is that
Born?
That's Born.
That's Born.
Okay.
That's Born. And Earl's over here too.
Earl will join us too. So we have. Now I will say I do not have a dog to join today. I've been Kaitlyn knows I've been thinking about this for a long time. And now this was I was going to say, I never say never, and especially when you're experiencing never, like this is the never thing that you never would have happened. So owning a dog, it could happen. You never know. I mean, maybe in another episode I might pop in with a dog. Who knows what'll happen nowadays. But so how are you both doing with COVID? Vanessa, I know we talked a little bit. You have a very good outlook of how to handle this, of just to what did you say? You're watching comedies and listening to music and such. And
I love television. Like I was one of those kids that sat in front of the TV all the time eating Doritos. Like I wasn't out playing sports. And I feel like I'm even watching less television now. Like you would think I'd be watching more. But I just don't want to. I don't want all that information flooding me because it just aggravates me and upsets me and makes me anxious and all this stuff. I figured out that anything that is outside the circle of my control, I don't need to input to the system. There's nothing that I can do about my current situation, except for my current situation. Like Vanessa Van Noy, person at large, like can't change what's going on. So I just kind of like it's going on, and when I can move about my business and go back to my life, that's when I'll step back into the flow. But it's kind of like a river that's rushing by too quickly. Like I'll just sit by the side and I'll wait for it to calm down. I'm not going to like stick my foot in it and have it take me, So I'm just waiting it out. I can't look at the news. I can't be involved in it. It's too much.
And I agree that makes a lot of sense to handle it that way, because there's nothing definitive that's being said in the news. I don't think anybody, like, everybody's mad about this person being wrong and that person being right, and how come they didn't say this sooner? And it's like, well, wait a minute, nobody really knows for sure. This is brand new ground for a lot of people, for everybody, and you're just kind of experiencing it as you go along. But that's a good way to think about it. Is just, take a step back,
stay out of it, stay out of the way. Just stay out of the way,
and enjoy your life as you can in the way that it is now. And when you can get back to your old life, it will be there. It's going to be there without a doubt. So that's a good way to handle things. Now, Kaitlyn, how are you doing in the last week since our last episode?
Good. Trying to stay busy. Started like running, I guess, and exercising more. So
wow, that was
my new hobby of the week. Each week I try something new. So this week was running, and my legs are very sore.
Tired? Yeah.
Very tired. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I didn't know, since we were talking before the show started, we were looking at the background in my room here, but you have a world map in your background.
I do.
Is that I'm sure that's there for a reason. It doesn't have pins on it, does it?
It does, yeah. I don't think you can see them, but it has pins of all the places I've been, and then the places I want to go to, or the next few places. It does, yeah. Nice. Most of them are like in Europe and the Caribbean, so they're like, it's tiny. But it's weird how, like, I've been to, I think, 16 countries.
Awesome.
But when you look at it on a map like this, it looks like you haven't even
covered
nothing. Nothing. Especially Europe. It's so tiny that like there's nothing.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I did that. I did something similar. When I worked, my first job out of school was Union Carbide, and we traveled all over the world, and we had a team map, and we would put pins where we all went, and then where we were at the particular time, what trip we were on. So we kind of had a good fun with that. So that you're ahead of me on countries. 16. I think I'm at 13 or 14 countries. So 16 is a lot. That's a lot of countries.
My goal is 30 countries before 30.
30.
So
that could be an ESPN. That could be a podcast right there. Is 30 before 30, and do tour around the different countries that you've been to. That's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's I had baseball stadiums. We've been to something like 20 some odd baseball stadiums.
Okay.
With my son and my wife. So we've traveled all over the country. Not, obviously there's nothing outside of the country except Toronto, but that's what we've been around to. But that's good. So Vanessa, how are you doing? You're doing yoga and such now, right? You're teaching classes online, you said, with the studios that you're working with?
I'm like, yeah, I am. I have a couple of classes on Zoom. I mean, clearly, I want people to keep practicing and all that stuff, but it's just not the same. It's a good format to be able to keep in touch like this. You know what I mean? Like to actually see my students' faces and have a conversation and kind of be in a virtual group. But, I'm such a like live and in person type of teacher, like that it's a new skill set that I kind of have to figure out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not on the mat when I teach, but now because of this new format, I have to be on the mat a lot. You know what I mean? To show people what they're doing, because usually I can like point to someone across the room and be like, all right, do that. Or, put your hand like this or whatever. And I can't do that anymore. So I'm actually probably doing more yoga right now than I've done in the past like 5 years, because every time I teach through Zoom, I have to practice most of it.
You have to show it. Yeah, that's
you have to show it. Yeah.
And I know that one of the things with your practice, and I've seen you a couple of times, I've been to a couple of your classes, is that your yoga classes start actually before the class, where you meet with the participants and you you say hello, you get, how are you doing from the last class, and you interact with them from before the class all the way through to the end of the class, and even afterwards. And with Zoom, it's just you're on and you're off.
You're on and you're off. Yeah,
it's a different. You miss that kind of preamble and the beginning and the end, which is that's why I think
that's the community aspect of it, right? So
yes.
that's what we're missing. We don't have that community aspect, and at this point in my practice, that's what I'm focusing on. You know what I mean? It's not like the yoga that I teach, even though it's a physical activity, it's not really about that. Like, that's not the main focus. The community aspect is my focus right now. So it's like that's been removed, so
exactly. That's the challenge. Well, I think that that's going to be the reason why it comes back really quick too, Vanessa. I think is that everybody, all the participants are missing that aspect of it too, and I think that they're going to be running to come back and wanting to be a part of a community and wanting to have that human interaction as quickly as possible. So I think it's gonna come back strong. In the same way with our business, Kaitlyn, with cryotherapy is you feel great during that, but it's the getting to know your clients and getting to know the team and talking with them and such like that is a big part of the experience of ChillRx.
Right.
So I think that's what I think will be big is people getting in that routine where they went to yoga, went to cryotherapy, or did exercise, or went out to dinner beforehand and such. So that's what I think. That's what I think people are you're missing in this, is that it's that community is really gonna resurface as quickly as possible, because everybody's just going bananas now and want to interact in any way.
Yeah, I think when this is over, everyone's gonna be outside in every business. I mean,
I hope so. I know I'll be the first in line at Chill.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're plotting our return, so we'll once we I think I have the steps to return. I don't have any dates as of yet, but we're plotting our return. And another thing I know you miss too is the hugging. I think that's a big part of every time we get a big hug from you, and I think you're a hugger. And I had somebody post somewhere as like, when I get back, I'm gonna hug everybody, and it's gonna be an uncomfortably long hug. It's gonna be the Seinfeld. Really, this is gonna be.
Yep.
So I can see that there'll be several of those as the there'll be some new. Actually, maybe I'm gonna tweet out to Seinfeld that he's he needs to come back for the COVID return and do a few episodes of Seinfeld when he returns.
I'm hugging,
Something. There's going to be some good material that's available when everybody gets back. So
totally.
That's So the I think now, have you been on a lot of walks with your dogs? I've seen that you've gone out. Yeah,
I'm always out there. And honestly, the only thing that other than the not working thing, the only thing that's really affected my life, like in a big way, is the fact that they closed the parks, because I'm in there every day. I live right between Hartshorn and Sandy Hook. So, if I'm not hiking in Hartshorn, I'm biking in Sandy Hook, and now I can't do either. And it's just it's frustrating. I'm just like, I don't understand. I'm like, I don't know. I drive past every day and I'm like,
that's the only thing you can do is drive around and hope you don't get pulled over and somebody asks you a question like, what are you doing and where are you going? Like, that's the only thing you can do is get in a car and drive somewhere. But like my son, he goes out at half-hour drives and drives around town. It's like there's no place to go. You can't really go anywhere. Everything's closed.
Paul, where did you grow up, Paul?
I grew up in New York City.
New York City. Okay, so you didn't grow up like in North Jersey or anything.
No, I grew up on 33rd between 1st and 2nd, right next to NYU Hospital. And my dad still lives in the apartment we grew up in. So.
So clearly they wouldn't have this in New York City. But when I was, Kaitlyn, you're too young. I'm like, you're too young. But I remember when I was in high school and my older brother was in high school, I grew up in Bloomfield. Bloomfield, Montclair area by, kind of probably around where you are. And there's a park there called Brookdale Park. Have you ever heard of it?
I think so. It's a big park, like in the middle of the town, right? And there's
there's like a loop that goes all the way around or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was the place where everybody would go and like cruise around in their car. So every day it would like Friday and Saturday night. It was like a traffic jam in this park because people would just like cruise around. Like girls would be in one car, boys would be in the other car, and they would just like drive around and be like,
"Oh, interesting!"
Like driving around, And I'm just like, I wonder if they're doing that again because like, what else are you gonna do? You can't get out of the car,
That's I'm gonna ask my son. I'm gonna say, are you like going? Is there like a COVID cruise?
Cruising Brookdale Park. It was Brookdale Park and up and down Bloomfield Avenue, like from Bloomfield like down to North and like back. It was like this big like in like the 80s. It was like that was what you did. You couldn't get in a bar and there was nothing for like teenagers to do, so you would all pile into the car and like sneak beverages and be like, ooh, like in the back seat, like, drink, putting a beer in your mouth and like waving at the boys,
Wow.
And I'm like, I thought of that the other day. I'm like, well, that's legal-ish.
That's I think everybody is breaking rules.
I wonder if that could be a thing again. Yeah, like just drive around the cars. I saw like the other day, I guess like like the bougie car people, they have like sorry, I have no idea what just happened. Okay, so how they have like clubs, like Lamborghini clubs and Porsche clubs and like all that stuff, right? So there was like a whole line of like exotic cars driving past my house a couple days ago, and they went to McLuhan's parking lot, and they all like 20 of them, like they all like pulled in and like parked together and were like checking out each other's cars and stuff. And I'm like, this is what we do for fun now we just drive around. I guess the car is like our little like bubble. There's that video that's going around. Have you guys seen it, of like the guy, like it's in New York City, there's like a guy on a roof and a girl on a roof, and they're just like like sending messages to each other. And then at one point he's like, oh, we should have a date. And he zips himself up in one of those like plastic bubbles, that you thought you could like walk in and like you haven't seen that? He's like in it.
No.
It's like a big hamster ball and he's inside. So he's inside the ball and she's outside the ball and they're like touching hands through the plastic and they're like having a date. So funny. I'm just like, oh boy. I'm like, it was very like, boy, remember the movie The Boy in the Plastic Bubble?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember
that. It was like that. It was funny.
I think that's something I think too as a comedy. I've seen a few comedians try to do some introductory COVID humor, but I think that the post-COVID humor ought to be pretty fun. Like I'd like to see Chappelle's viewpoint on it, and Chris Rock was actually on last night on the on the music on the New Jersey for music. Yeah, and he was on, but it was more of like a MC type of role where he just introduced the next. I think he introduced Charlie Pugh, I think. Maybe. Yeah, I think he did. But
how was that?
It was very good. I thought it was very good. Bruce Springsteen, he did 2 songs, and Bon Jovi did 2 songs. And then Charlie Pugh did a song. And then a few other people whose names I didn't recognize everybody's names, but it was really a real well produced 60 minutes of music, so it was pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, I heard that on the radio. I heard it on the radio this morning. I'm like, oh right, that was last night. I forgot.
Yeah, and you could tell the different. Like Springsteen had his world-class guitars and all dressed up with various, Gibson inlays and pearl sections. And then there was this one band from up in New Jersey in Woodbridge that she was very good. Yeah, she did. It was basically, I think she had a guitar like I had when I was growing up. And I was like, you could see Springsteen was probably watching this. And he's like, I need to get put a guitar in a box and mail it down to her.
Send it to
because
her,
she had, it was literally looked like the one I had when I was playing when I was a kid. I was like, she was really good. I was like, I wonder how she would sound with Bruce's guitar.
The better guitar, yeah.
it was my wife and I were watching it, and then we listened to Pat Roddy right afterwards. I don't know. Do you listen to Pat Roddy? Either of you?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
I
local
used to go see
Shore.
him play. He played at my boyfriend's cousin's wedding, actually.
There you go. Yeah, so he's a Shore band. He's more down in the Belmar area, Vanessa, than he is up in the Highlands area and in Rumson area. But so he has a show that he does every Wednesday night where he people donate money to various charities that he's involved in. So he's been doing that for the last couple of weeks, and he's raised a decent amount of money. So we listened to him afterwards for half hour. So that's our kind of entertainment during the week. And that's the excitement that we have in the COVID environment. But it's
bananas. It's just bananas. So the only words I have is bananas. Bananas.
That's just there's no way to explain it. I think it's you can't. Now you have an event on Saturday, right, Vanessa? Is that correct?
It's Sunday. It's Sunday. I'm pretty sure.
Sunday.
You're just going to kill me. I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. Yeah. So it's Sunday, so we do Bridget runs it now, the Global Mala in Asbury Park. So it's there every year on the boardwalk, and the whole community gets together and does 108 sun salutations. It's usually about 10 to 20 teachers, depending on the year, and we each do a couple of salutations. It takes a couple hours. It's a huge event. Like we've had words of 500 people on the boardwalk in September. It's really amazing. And we were supposed to have the halfway to the Mala event over at Porta, right? So we planned this great pizza party, and
that's right.
Sabrina, we're going to teach together, and we had a DJ and all this stuff. And it was just as this was starting, and we were supposed to have 40 people, and we ended up having we had 30 sign up, and then people just started dropping like flies, as it started getting closer. And I'm just we got to call this. There's just no good reason. So we just had to cancel it, and so we didn't get to do that. And so we figured, we'll do our own thing over Zoom. We'll do another 108 and just try to get the community together just so we can touch base. There's a couple of us, I mean, people that you're close to, you tend to stay in contact with on the regular, but there's this outer ring of people that are also within the community that, even though you're not, besties or anything, you see on the regular, and they're a part of your life, and they just haven't been, and there's not enough time in the day to text every single person that you would come in contact every single day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we're doing that on Sunday. It's starting at noon. People can sign up either on Instagram. There's a link on the New Jersey Yoga Collective feed, and also on Facebook on the New Jersey Collective feed. Yeah, and I believe it's by donation. And all the proceeds are going to the food bank.
Good. Oh, you see, Ming just put that up on the.
Ming, you're awesome.
Posting Facebook Live. You see, Ming is
everything.
He's quick, that Ming Chen.
He's got it going on. Yeah, that's. I think it's a great. I found it on Eventbrite also. I don't know whether I could do 108 or not. I think
it takes a while. Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a couple hours. Yeah.
Maybe I could do 54 in the 108 time frame. Maybe that's.
Well, the good thing about this format is there's no pressure. Have you taken a class on Zoom or anything? Basically, you just shut off the video and be like, oh, I'm gonna go get a snack. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Just put up a picture of you doing this.
That's true. You have time till Sunday. Take a picture of you doing one.
Yeah.
So that way you can put it up. So
no one will know. No one will know. You're like, I'm gonna go. I'm hot. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll be right back. Where if you're outside on the boardwalk, everybody's looking at you like, "Where you going, Vanessa? Where you going, Vanessa? What are you doing?"
That's true. You see, you got.
See, you do not have to do the 108. You just log on.
You log on, show your face, do the get into the character, and then and it's all going to shuffle around really well too. So no one can really you can kind of shuffle down, just as long as you don't say anything. Put yourself on mute so that way it doesn't. Yeah, you don't want to be unmuted and then have something, put your magic.
Yeah, you hear like dogs barking in the back, like
and you hear somebody like, "Give me the vodka. I need my afternoon drink." You don't want any of that.
I can't do this anymore. Where's the whiskey? Oh.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Like, what? Why do I want to do yoga at noon? You don't want any of that. You want to keep the dialogue really strong.
Or you just sit there with a cocktail and you watch everybody else do it. You're just like,
that's true.
Maybe everyone.
You could have spectator. You could have a spectator view.
I'm drinking my tea right now.
Watching. So
you guys go. 99 left. 99 left. Go.
Now I don't. Does the 108 number have a significance to it, or is that?
Yes, there's significance to it. Like in mala beads, there's 108 beads. In some religions, it's 108 names of God. It's significant in a number of different ways. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure about that. That's so there's some significance there. I was trying to think. Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I think it's going to be very well attended. I'm sure you have. I know we've been to the one just last year in Asbury, and then so it's and then we also went to your the Headstands for Hunger. Do you have something on the calendar for this year for that, or is that still?
This year, the Global Mala and Headstands for Hunger are partnering. So Headstands for Hunger is usually in November, and it's a great time. But we have it, as you know, we have it at Convention Hall, and it tends to be a little chilly. So every year, it's like everybody's like, "It was great, but it was cold. It was great, but it was cold." So I'm like, "All right, let's move the date." So I talked to the woman, the team over at Fulfill, and I was like, "Look, guys, like when are you guys most in need? Like probably the holidays is when like they're busting at the seams. You know what I mean? Because everybody thinks about giving food around the holidays. But she said in the summer is when they really need support, because the kids are out of school, like kind of like now, the kids are out of school. There's a lot of kids that, get fed at school. They count on those meals. And once they're out of school in the summer, they're not getting their breakfast. They're not getting their lunch and all that stuff. So these people use, the food bank to supplement that. So usually in the summer is when they're in greatest need of support and donations. So to 2021, we're going to be moving Headstands for Hunger to June. Okay. And so this year, 2020, like I said, we're partnering with New Jersey Yoga Collective and the Global Mala. So we're going to be one big event in September.
Gotcha. So a little bit earlier. Yeah. So it'll be in the same venue there in Asbury at the hotel there with the.
No, we're going to be on the boardwalk.
Oh, you're going to be on the boardwalk with the Mala. Oh, okay. All right. On the boardwalk.
Yeah,
with
the Mala and Headstands for Hunger will be one event this year.
Okay. All right. Well, the September event, that the timing of that should be good, and it'll be outside. It'll be warmer and such, and that'll be good. Yeah. We did the convention that. I mean, it was just amazing to see all the yoga teachers and kind of mix everything together. That was an incredible experience with that myself. And I did yoga that day too, which is an incredible feat accomplishment in and of itself. So I think I'm still recovering. It's been 4 months, 5 months. But that's great. That's great. I think those are, and I think the schedule September, that schedule should be good with everything that's going on. I think the timing.
I'm thinking we should be good by then.
I think so. That there's some good news that's coming out. I think I've read some more today. I don't want to get in all the details of it, but yeah, I think things are gonna hopefully start to turn around in the next couple of weeks, and we get some good news about things. But yeah, so that's great. I think the one thing you mentioned about the food is I have heard that during this that the food donations is huge during this. Like I've been on a couple of Red Bank calls, Vanessa and Kaitlyn, and the amount of food that is required to feed a lot of people, like you said, that the students are not in school, which was their main form of eating food. And so it's just an unlimited demand at these. There's one woman that runs Toast. I don't know, do you know Anne Russo that runs Toast? You may have met her over the years, but she's involved in some things in Asbury, and they did some luncheons there that were like maybe 20 or 30 lunches a day. She says it's like well over 100. They have people coming in all the time in Asbury, that it's huge. And that's really, so they're any kind of help with food donations is really sorely needed until we get back to some sort of normalcy, and the normal channels that many people ate would return. So like I've seen a lot of like the hospital donations that are going on. Like I've read like, how on earth are all these hospitals eating all this food? And it's like, and I've been on the calls and like, Paul, everybody in the hospital that works in these hospitals, they're taking the sandwiches, bring them home to their family because they don't have time to cook. They're like, they work in 12-hour shifts. They spend an hour getting there, an hour getting back, and an hour cleaning up when they get home. And then they don't have any time to cook for their families. So the food is being used for their families too in a lot of ways. So it's
if I was me, I'd be taking the sandwiches too.
Yeah. It's huge effort to be able to get through all this. But now you've said that you've missed cryotherapy. I know you've been a regular client of ours for a long time. I think it's I know we miss it. The benefits of it. Which treat now you started with the whole body. I think that's probably the one that you really, is that the one you enjoy the most, or?
Well, enjoy is a different word that I would use, but.
Oh, really? All right. How do you describe it? Tolerate it, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of the cold. Like, I don't snowboard. I would like be in Florida if I could, but I am a huge fan of like the fact that it keeps me out of pain, what it does for my skin, like all the good, all the good things that, the cryo gives me in 3 minutes is just, there's nothing else like it. And like I wake up every day and my back hurts and I'm just like, oh, I just want to go to cryo. I'm like, I'm gonna text Paul. He'll let me in on the DL in the back door.
I did get a few of those. It was like, it's I'm very hopeful, but I don't. We'll see in the coming weeks. But that's great. I think it's we're excited to return. I think we've got a few new things coming out. If everyone look at our Instagram, we have the Slim Pod that we're going to be releasing as we come out. So it's a it's like it's really the best way to describe it. It's like a spaceship. You climb into a spaceship, and it's a vibrating table, and there's infrared heat, and it heats you up anywhere from 120 all the way up to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, and it basically just drains, burns fat off of your body.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a new kind of technology that we've been testing in Westfield for several months, and all the locations got it. So I got it installed while we've been closed and all that kind of thing. So so as soon as we get going, we'll invite you in to try it and
all over that
and see how it is. And
it's probably great from go to one to the other, right? It's like going into the sauna and the plunge pool.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the same. It's going to be the same kind of thing. It's similar. It's going to be hotter than the infrared sauna that we have, and it's much more concentrated than the infrared sauna that we have. So it's a more of an intense experience than the infrared sauna. But
how long are you supposed to stay in there?
It's going to be 30 minute treatments. Oh,
Ming, look at this. Ming 10,
look, there you go. You see?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Look at that. You're right there, and your head is kind of sticking out right there. And so it is the spaceship design. It's we keep adding to our folklore at ChillerX. So
scroll down, Ming. Scroll down.
There you go. That's coming out.
Thank you, Min. Thank you. Well, that looks very, very well. That looks amazing.
Yeah, looks really cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited to try it.
It's very high tech.
It's going to be exciting, and it is. I will tell you, it is hot. So you got to be ready for it. And the word apparently is you really got to drink a lot of fluids before and a lot of fluids afterwards because it is hot. So you'll know
how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes
in the chamber. So
wow.
Did you try it yet, Paul?
No, I have not. Okay. No, I've literally just got it installed and plugged in the other day. A friend of mine's electrician came in and did that. So we because it's hard to get people to come in and do things. So I had to go through the friend network to get someone to come in and install it electrically and everything. So we got that in. And
so which one would you do first?
Oh, you do the heat first. And then you do the cold afterwards. Yeah, that's always the.
You probably wouldn't even notice the cold after. The cold would be like, oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a different. It's going to be a different feeling.
With fantastic.
You're going to, it's the infrared sauna. Your skin temperature, max in the infrared sauna is 150. So your skin temperature, probably doesn't get much higher than 100, 103, 105. But with 190, it's going to start. Your skin temperature is going to get really warm. Wow. So you're going to need to. Kind of equilibrate yourself afterwards and then go into the cold afterwards. So we're going to test it out and find out the best combination of things, but it'll be a fun addition to the, and then we'll have all the rooms full. We'll have different, we have the sculpting going on still, and we'll have the gains wave in the other room and everything. So it'll be all the rooms will have activity in them, which is the idea. So it'll be an exciting relaunch where it's going to be a great Saturday. I don't know what Saturday it'll be, but
it will be Saturday. It will be Saturday
for our grand opening Saturday.
Saturday soon.
Saturday. So I think. Well, thank you both for being on, Vanessa. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Good to see you, Paul. Good to see you, Kaitlyn.
Yeah, yes. You too.
And I'm sure
I'm missing you come in.
Yeah.
I miss all you guys.
Dog sitting.
We'll have to have a doggy play day at some point.
Yeah.
That's what I think we need to have, like a doggy expose at Chiller X. Maybe is where
I think we should totally do that.
Right? We bring. I think Nicole has. We haven't even met Nicole's dog yet. Kaitlyn, have you met Nicole's dog?
I did. I watched him for a little bit too.
Oh, you did. All right.
He's bigger than you. Yeah.
We need to have a Dogs of Chill day, and everybody bring their dogs in, and you have to show them off and be a part of the chill experience, right? Yeah.
Put little outfits on them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. Well, that's a wrap. We will see you both soon. Thank you very much for joining, and make sure you follow Vanessa _Van Noy on Instagram, and we'll have all the links, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.